My name is Chris Campbell. I'm the CEO of ReviewTrackers. I'll dig into a little bit what we do, but today I'm excited to talk to you guys about customer success. So I thought this was kind of a funny play on words. Customer success is eating the world. In the Valley here, we talk about venture capitalists here made it famous, software is eating the world. And I thought that that would be kind of an interesting topic. So much of the conference is around acquiring customers that sometimes we forget what we need to do to retain customers. And so that's what I'm going to talk about today. That's part of what we think our secret sauce is at ReviewTrackers. And hopefully I'm going to walk through that and answer any questions that you guys have. So I'll start with this. Many companies, this is a quote from an author, many companies do not appreciate the real cost of losing customers. They can tell you exactly what they are doing to attract new customers, how much this costs them, but they have no clue as to how many customers they're losing, why they're being lost, or how much this costs them. And I thought this was a good quote to kind of like set the tone of some of the stuff that I'll kind of walk through today. But real quick, so for many of you in the room, and just like us, we're compared on features. Do you have this? Do you have that? Bells and whistles when customers are comparing us with so many different products in the market. I think the average small business is called on, I think now north of 40 times a month to be sold digital products. So when you're a small business owner and you're trying to compare and contrast, let alone on individual product pages, let alone across the market, it can be super confusing. So, but what's different about us is, and I'll kind of talk about us, is we don't sell against that. We sell them when we ask customers why they buy us, it's different reasons. So ReviewTrackers, I'll keep this sales pitch short, but we're a software platform that helps businesses like restaurants, car dealers, healthcare systems track and manage customer feedback. And we do that through a myriad of ways, but to keep it really simple, if I'm a restaurant, we help you understand what people are saying like Google, Yelp, OpenTable, TripAdvisor. We pull it in, we derive insights from it, and then we give you tools to actually help generate new reviews and collect and solicit feedback. So when we ask our customers, why do you actually buy from us? It breaks down to three things. Yeah, sometimes it's the bells and whistles, sometimes it's the features, but really this is what wins them. Easy use of the product. So we spend a lot of time on UX and design and making it super easy to use. The accuracy of our data. Again, that sounds like a weird thing, but in our space, like having every single review is really important to a business. And awesome customer service. So, and which is what we're going to talk about today, which sounds kind of weird. I don't want to say it's our differentiator, but it's something that our customers tell us we do differently. So we drink our own Kool-Aid. We help customers, as I was kind of talking about, actually track and understand what their customers are saying. And as part of that, we wanted to do the same thing. So last year, we actually got awarded the G2 Crowd. I don't know if anybody has ever seen this. It's a software review site. We were noted as one of the top 10 companies in the US in terms of customer support and success. And that was rated based on how our customers actually review us online, of which we have hundreds of 5-star reviews online as well. So I feel like this mic's going in now. I don't know I hope you guys can hear me. So I'll start with a brief history on marketing, and I'll talk about the evolution to where we are to this, what we kind of describe as this feedback economy. So this is where we started. Yellow page ads for Tracy's Karate with a couple different deals, and it quickly evolved to now every business has AAA, so they can be listed first in the phone book. I don't know if anybody's old enough marketers that they remember this stuff. They'd be like AAA, A1, like A2. Anyway, so this is what spun in the 80s and 90s to be ranked #1 in the phone book, and then we started getting to pay-per-click ads. Then it became to this brand advocacy where this word of mouth is starting to become more and more powerful to how you acquire customers. And now we're at this stage where customers are starting to tell your story, where just like before when they were talking about cold calling and reaching out and cold emails, now one of the most powerful tools that you can use, and the internet just amplifies it 10x, is this idea of word of mouth. Where before a sales rep, after they close the deal, they'd be like, hey, can you refer, they're selling vacuums door to door. They would say, hey, can you give me a referral? Do you have any neighbors that can also use a vacuum? And the internet, with the way the referral system works, the way online feedback, the way you can amplify customer stories completely changes the game. And for a lot of our customers, it changes how they acquire new business. So here's some research on like where customers are actually talking about brands. 55% of it is from review sites, whereas the majority of our business we focus on, but there are on other things, forums, Twitter, social, things like that. So I wanted to share this story. So Ego is you might have seen it like Home Depot or Lowe's. They're same platform. They're a hardware company that makes like lawnmowers and weed whackers. And internally, they had this opportunity where a customer called to register his product, and he left a voicemail. And for many organizations, they would just go delete and move on. But they realized this call was a little different, and it got bubbled up to the head of customer support. Then it went to the C-level suite, and they were like, we need to do something with this and turn it into marketing. So I'm just going to play this real quick.
Hi, David Marshall in Pomona, New Jersey. I just bought your Ego string trimmer, 56, can't believe it, 56 volts. I just used it for 5 minutes, and I'm like, oh my God. I actually gave my steel gas-powered trimmer to the junk man because I got tired of fixing it. This is wow, a 10 scale wow. This is the trimmer. This is unbelievable. I want to make sure the big shots know how tickled I am. I want the CEO to know. I will talk about you guys on TV. I'm serious. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Bye. I want to register my serial numbers. That's why I called. Okay, bye.
So, I mean, talk about building a brand advocate. And they turned it around where this insight happened. They realized it wasn't the first time. And marketing's like, they made a custom 800 number behind it and started collecting these voicemails, and they turned them into animated YouTube videos. And again, I'm trying to say that feedback comes in all forms, and it's about empowering your organization to take action on it. And this is how they did it, and it became to a really funny story. So when I think about customer experience, it's about how people feel about your brand. That customer experience derives in ways of how they feel, how they interact with it. And I guess the question is, how do people feel about your brands? What is your customer experience like? That's really creepy now. Someone joined the Google Hangout. Hello. Oh, he hopped off. So I guess the question is, are you guys listening? What are your customers saying? We're now in this massive marketing evolution where this idea where word of mouth marketing can be as powerful as those old yellow page ads or those pay-per-click ads, where if you can get a brand, your customers to love you and be passionate about the service or product that you provide, that they're spreading the word and helping you acquire your next set of customers. So when we think, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about our examples of how we do it, but when we look at feedback and we're listening, we think about every complaint, every time, on every platform. So it doesn't matter how they send it to us. It could be email, support, 800 number, social media, blog, forum, etc. There's tons of tools out there that help you listen to all that. And that's what we do. And we realize it's made a difference for our customers. But the reality is, for most companies, they listen to some complaints some of the time on some of the platforms. We get busy. There's a lot of things going on. There's other priorities. Running a company there's a lot of CEOs in the room. There's so many, you have 50 number one priorities. So how do you make this a focus? How do you spend time to do this? So there's actually a stat that Jay Baer, if you haven't read his book, Hug Your Haters, it's a great book, but he surveyed companies and he asked them, how many of you think you deliver a superior customer experience? 80% of the companies said they do. So he went then and then surveyed their customers and found only 8% of their customers actually agree with them. I mean, think of how crazy that is for a second, where 80% of companies that he was talking to Yeah, that's a competitive advantage for us. Only 8% of their customers are, and it's insane to think, like, at least for myself personally, to have a superior experience is just like doing what you say you're going to do. Like, that is the bar for a lot of people. We think of a lot of luxury brands or brands where they go above and beyond the duty. You think Nordstrom, Zappos, Ritz-Carlton, where these brands have become famous around the service that they provide. But for so many customers out there, usually just like, if you just say, I'm going to deliver this to you on Tuesday, and it's there on Monday, they're like, holy crap. Like, how did you do that? You blew it out of the water. They planned internally that it'd be on Friday because they just assume everything's late. And when you kind of change those expectations of under promise and over deliver, it can really change how your customers perceive you, the opportunities that maybe you can create with them. And for us, it's been really powerful. Another crazy stat, a third of customer complaints are never answered. So that's across all the different mediums. Just, go away. I don't care what my customers have to say. And that's fair too, if that's your business. But for us, and for hopefully some of you people in the room, it was important. Another crazy statistic, and I'll get into the numbers of why you should care and listen to all your customer complaints, but statistically, you have a 70% chance of actually turning that customer around. And research also shows if you can turn them around, they actually become a more loyal customer because they know that when times get tough or there's some sort of issues, that you'll be in their corner and solve their problem. So they become more trustworthy. So if they go through those up and down emotions with you, they become a stronger customer, and the lifetime value of them usually statistically increases. But if you can work to save them, or if you actually listen, respond, 70% of the time you save them. With that said, the average response time for a business is about 48 hours. Consumers expect a response, if it's on social, within 5 hours. So keep that in mind as you kind of go through this process. If they're pissed off and angry, responding to my tweet a week later isn't really relevant to me anymore. But if you're listening and you get it within a few hours, it can dramatically change that entire experience. Wind up to, hey, sorry you had that. Let's fix it for you. And it gives you that opportunity. Speed is your friend. And sometimes you might not be able to fix it, but just being able to be responsive says a lot to the customer. So when you think about marketing, worldwide, it's a $500 billion market. Huge amount of money is being spent acquiring customers, figuring out how to get them, going through the whole funnel, sending them a sequence of 5 emails, getting them to sign up. When we look at how much is spent on customer success, fractions. $9 billion compared to the $500 billion spent worldwide. So, why else would you want to care? 5% increase in customer retention usually equates to a 25 to 90% increase in profits. It varies by industry, product, service, but statistically, if you can decrease your churn, increase your retention, profits correlating go up. So this is our customer success team. This is not a stock photo, though they are that good looking. The reason why I'm showing this is because really there's only 2 people really on the front line. The other 2 are like more back of the house, and they support over 25,000 users on our platform, like active people logging in. And to think like you don't need a massive team to solve it, but we're very efficient in terms of templated responses, making sure the product becomes more intuitive. We do a lot of things like every month we'll look at all the support tickets, what is taking the most time, and we systematically go back with our designers and UX people and think about how do we refine the product so that that type of issue decreases. And when you constantly do that month over month over month, even though we've over the last year like quadrupled the number of users on our platform, the number of tickets have remained flat. And a lot of that is driven from just constantly refining the product so that they can handle the volume. So I asked Crystal, who's our director of customer happiness, to send me a photo, and this is the one she chose with a Vienna beef hot dog in it. If you guys can't tell, we're from Chicago, so I guess it's a Chicago thing. Anyway, so the reason why I show this is for a lot of the software companies in here, I'm a big believer in having customer success as core as part of the organization. So she was literally our first hire in our Chicago office. A lot of people have written about this. Like if anybody follows in the SaaS space, like Jason Lumpkin, he always talks about your customer success person as a single-digit hire, one of the first 9. And we're big believers in helping build out that process even before even the customers know they need it. So I talked about our team, talked about what are the results, what happened when you did this. Our average email response time, and this is based on a 24-hour clock, is 27 minutes. Our net promoter score from our customers is 65. That's like up there with like MailChimp and other brands that are highly loved. Our churn for last year, and this is probably the most interesting for the group, 1.8% was our net churn. Our gross. Our net churn was actually negative 4% because these accounts actually grew with us, which is kind of insane when you have small businesses that they're literally opening another cupcake shop and they sign up, and that's where the growth came from. Yeah.
Is that customer churn or revenue churn?
Revenue. Dollar churn. So, and as I talk about this, like this relentless focus on optimization, it's not just for customer success. We also do it across. So like the sales team, if a lead comes in, the average response time is within 4 minutes during business hours. Someone's actually calling them back, picking up the phone. They've done a Google search. They check Salesforce. They're calling them, be like, hey, thanks so much for signing up. You got any questions? Job applicants. When people are applying to a job to work here, we're usually reviewing the resume within a few minutes. We make a decision within 24 hours they're going to proceed or not. I use these examples to just show, like, across the organization, we have this like focus on what I call operational elegance. Some people call it different things, but just being very efficient, making decisions, moving forward, taking care of the people that are important to you. In this case, the job applicants might be the customers. It could be prospects. So in terms of results, what's happened? Well, we got a 5-star reputation on Google. We have reviews across half a dozen or so sites, and literally we have over 100 5-star reviews that customers have posted about our customer service. And I don't think either of these have it. Yeah, good response from customer service, but tons of stories. If you read our reviews, you can see the trend of that's something customers care about when other people in the space don't. So real quick, not going to leave you hanging. Here's a couple things of maybe how do I get started? First, listen to what your customers are saying. There's a couple great tools out there like Mention.com, BrandWatch, the various review sites. If you're in the software space, like G2 Crowd, Capterra are both great options. Maybe start building some of your profiles on. Conduct an internal audit, kind of understand where are people leaving feedback. Maybe you have someone in support, maybe it's just a help desk. Maybe it's self-serve. Maybe the first step is surveying your customers to understand what do they think, where do they need help. Develop a program that works. So who are the stakeholders, who do we want feedback from, and how are we going to use this to pivot and iterate. Ask for feedback, and I'll kind of share a quick splinter story to this. Sears, the home appliance repair brand, you guys might know them from their auto division or retail, but when they started about a year and a half ago, they had a 0.9 star rating across all the different review sites. They did one thing differently. They started asking customers to leave feedback, and 6 months later, they had a 4.2 star rating. So they started changing the perception of the brand. But the biggest thing, they said it also correlated to revenue, but the bigger thing that they found was they started sharing these reviews internally saying, hey, great job, Steve. Great job, Sarah. Here's another review that came in. And it completely changed the morale of the organization within a few months when they started sharing all these success stories internally versus earlier being perceived to work for a brand that no one appreciated. So that was them in the Sears office, if you weren't sure what it looks like. And then finally, transfer this data into insights and organizational change. So I'll give another example. Midas, which is a car repair chain, 1,000+ shops across North America, they realized through the insights in our data it was starting to bubble up that people were complaining about the tire rotation. And as they dug into it, they realized all these franchisees, one of the things about oil changes, you're always trying to get in and out. And they're trying to make it speedy. They want it in a few minutes. And what was happening is if you came in looking like you're in a rush, the mechanic would just get you out the door and not do the tire rotation, which was included in the service. So they made one change. So they bubbled this up, saw this problem, and they added a question. Now when customers come in, if you go to a Midas and you say, hey, I'm here for an oil change, they go, hey, as part of your service, you get a complimentary tire rotation. Would you like to take advantage of that today? If not, you can get out of here about 10 minutes faster. So they added one question to the process, and it eliminated all these pieces of negative feedback that they were getting. And these are small examples of insights and operational change that you can see from the feedback listening to customers. It wasn't something they were aware of from any other channel. It was the marketing team that brought it up to the C-suite and pushed it back down and said, we got to do this. So those are a few examples and hopefully some success stories to inspire you guys and help make your customers happy. So if you're interested and want to learn more, we're actually launching a free training on how to become like voice of your customer certified and feedback certified. You can go to reviewtrackers.com/workshop to learn more if you're interested in that. Just like probably every other company here, we're also hiring for about 20 different positions. So if you're interested, I'd love to talk to you. And with that, I open it up for questions. Love to hear your feedback. Thank you.